During a passionate lectures in Pakistan, Sheikh Deedat was sent a question from the panel of Catholic priests from the National Catholic Theological Institute. Their question was clear. Why focus on Christianity in his lectures? Wouldn't it be better to simply explain Islam's message? Sheikh Deedat reply was,
There is a question here, seems to be a very important question because it's coming from some very important people. It says, Christ the King Seminary, National Catholic Theological Institute, near Hassan Square, University Road, Karachi, 47, Pakistan. Coming from the Christ the King Seminary, it says, do you lecture that you have been speaking of Christians from the past hour and not on Islam? If Islam is a religion of peace, preach peace. Do you realize how many verses of the Quran speak of Hazrat Isa? There is a whole surah dedicated to Hazrat Maryam. Oh, this is very true. Very true. Very true. You're talking about Islam. Everything that I was speaking was about Islam. See, when I said there is no original sin, that was Islam. When I said Jesus is not God, that is Islam. When I said Jesus was not killed or crucified, that is Islam. So although
Islam came to correct the mistakes of previous societies. The Quran often recounts the stories of these societies, highlighting their tendency to stray from the worship of the one true God, and instead start to worship other humans or objects. The core tenet of Islam is to reject all other gods, as one who reverts to Islam must declare the testimony of faith, the first part of which asserts that there is no God worthy of worship except God alone. When Islam came into being, Christianity was the dominant Abrahamic faith, having already deviated significantly from absolute monotheism. Christian priests had long since promoted a Trinitarian creed, which Islam saw as a major deviation from the true worship of God alone. In response to this perceived travesty, God sent the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran to rectify this deviation and restore monotheism as the central focus of worship.
I'm not pulling this out of my head, out of thin air. Everything that I was using the Bible, but proving my Islamic case. With regards to all these other suggestions that have been made, beautiful. Look, this is what the Christian ought to be doing. This church people seems to know that there is a chapter in the Quran called Surah Maryam. The bulk of Christians don't. There is no such chapter in the Bible in honor of the name of the mother of Jesus. There is 66 books: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Ezekiel, Elisha, Elijah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Maryam. Then he says, you know how many times Jesus is mentioned in the Quran? Yes, he is mentioned 25 times. And I must also tell you same time that the name Muhammad only 5 times. Amazing situation. See, Muhammad is mentioned in the Quran only 5 times. 4 times as Muhammad and 1 time as Ahmad. Altogether 5. Jesus, 25 times. Subhanallah. Why so? There is a chapter about Surah Maryam, about the birth of Jesus. Surah Ali Imran, about the birth of Jesus. Why? And the Prophet's birth is not mentioned. Muhammad's birth is not mentioned. His mother's name is not mentioned. His daughter's name is not mentioned. His wife's name is not mentioned. Amazing. But mother of Jesus is mentioned. And the birth of Jesus is mentioned. Why? Why? Because he's greater? Why? You see, there was a problem. When our Nabi Kareem was made to declare his mission, when he reached Medina, he found that the Jews and the Christians were each other's necks, throats. The Jews and the Christians were at war about the personality of Jesus. The Jews said that because Jesus has got no father, he is the illegitimate child of Mary. A Roman soldier, they give a name about the soldier, he raped Mary and he produced this illegitimate child. Astaghfirullah. They say he is the bastard child of Mary.
There are conflicting accounts regarding the circumstances surrounding Jesus' birth. Some in Judaism alleged that Mary was the victim of a Roman soldier, and that Jesus was the son of a man named Pantera. This claim can be found in the Babylonian Talmud, in which Jesus is thought to be the figure known as Ben Stata. In the Palestinian Talmud, Jesus is also mentioned several times, with some calling him Yeshu bin Pandera. These accounts in Judaism also accused Mary of adultery and claimed that Jesus, or Yeshua, led people astray. This is in stark contrast to the Muslim belief that Jesus, known as Isa in Arabic, was miraculously conceived without a human father, and that he was the son of Mary.
But this is what the Jews said. The Christians said because God no father is God. One goes to one extreme, the other goes to the other extreme. So Allah tells us what position must we take. So He's telling us what to do. He says, tell them, tell them, Ya Ahlal Kitab, O people of the book, O Jews and Christians, La taghlu fi dinikum. He said, do not go to extremes in your religion. Wa la taqulu ala Allahi illa al-haq. And don't say anything about Allah except the truth. Innamal Masih, most certainly the Messiah, Isa ibn Maryama, Jesus the son of Mary, Rasulullah, is a messenger of Allah, wa kalimatuhu, and a word proceeding from him. Alqaha ila Maryam wa ruhun minhum, which he bestowed upon Mary, and a spirit proceeding from him. Fa'aminu billahi wa rasulihi, so believe in Allah and his messenger, Jesus. This is actually what Jesus says. In the Gospel of St. John, he says, and this is life eternal. For salvation, this is life eternal. That they should know thee, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom thou hast sent. I'm asking the Muslim, do you believe that? Of course we do. That there is only one Allah and Isa is Rasul. There is only one Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. There is only one Allah and Musa alayhi salam is Kalimullah. There is only one Allah and Ibrahim is Khalilullah. There is only one Allah and Jesus is his messenger.
Click on the link in the description to buy your own copy today.